how I made my first 10K month as an online music producer, and actually it was 16K, but whatever. I want to tell you the full story. And really what I want to share with you is the long time that it took. Okay, so if you don't know me, my name's Leezy the Gifted. I'm an artist, I'm a producer, and I'm also a music business coach. What I do is I teach expert music producers how to get clients online using paid ads, specifically using Instagram ads. And I want to tell you this story because I know for me, when I hear stories of people who've actually been where I've been and gotten to where I wanted to get to, it always inspires me and it gives me a lot of value. And so I really just want to share the story and break it down for you. So for the first 13 years of my music career, it was like basically flatline at zero with music. Started out as an artist, then I learned how to produce my own music. And I really started to fall in love with the business side of things, like selling beats, mixing and mastering, things of that nature. And I realized, I was like, man, like I can make money a lot easier as a music producer than as an artist. It's still music, right? So I ended up getting the rare opportunity to work with Legion Beats and Anno Domini, but really I worked a lot more with Gabe Schillinger, Legion Beats. And, you know, he does over $1 million a year selling beats online. So I was in his coaching program, which is called MIDI Money. And I actually got the opportunity to meet him in person because his studio is not far from where I live. And I won like a contest called the Legion Studio Takeover. So I worked quite closely with, you know, arguably the most successful online music producer in the game. By the way, we got a double shot of espresso. We're milking it. I think this is, god damn, that's strong. I think this is like the 4th cup of coffee for me today. I'm lit right now. It's 3 o'clock. I'm caffeine the fuck up. But anyway, so yeah, so I got to work closely with him and, you know, started doing the whole like click funnels and like 5 free beats, 15 free beats, built the email list, sold beats, worked with, you know, clients online. And I was like, you know what, like this is really good. And I still want to like put out my own music. I want to make money producing. I just felt like there was more to learn about business online. So I pivoted outside of music and I started a social media marketing agency for real estate agents. I know it seems super random, but I was like, look, I just want to hustle and figure out this whole online business game. So I learned the world of Facebook ads, Instagram ads, building customer relationship management tools, like that's called a CRM, the whole process of booking calls, taking calls. And I also learned the world of high ticket. What was it like to sell something that was like super expensive? And I mean, at the time I thought it was super expensive, but things like 2K, 5K, 6K, 8K, 10K, like what's it like to create something that has that kind of price to it and then sell it to cold traffic? Okay, so I learned that in 2022. After that, I was like, okay, obviously this is not what I'm super passionate about, meaning like, I mean, I had some great clients that were real estate agents, but I wasn't super passionate about like real estate and all that. I was like, I want to get back to music. So I took all those lessons and brought them into music. And what I did was I ended up creating what I call a high ticket offer, and specifically a high ticket music offer. And I started a coaching program called Rapid Fire Music, okay, Rapid Fire Music Academy. This was where I taught recording artists how to produce their own music, okay? So to give you some context to this, what I wanted to do and what I've always wanted to do is be unique, stand out, and create a blue ocean. Now, custom production, mixing and mastering, all of that was included as part of Rapid Fire Music Academy. But I knew, I was like, dude, I want to do more than just be a music producer. I know I want to be like a personal brand and do more than that. I don't want to just be a producer. There's millions of producers, hundreds of billions of beats online. How do I stand out? I was like, I have to do something unique. And so I was like, I don't really see a lot of people like really teaching recording artists how to produce music. Like there's obviously ways to learn, but I was like at the scale I wanted to do it at, there just wasn't anything out there. So I created this program. This is where I was teaching recording artists how to produce music. And to give you context, like this is what ended up happening. So that market, I mean, you know, from being an expert producer, artists are a tough market. They're tough. They're a tough market to work with. I had a lot of music artists, recording artists, rappers, singers that they're kind of broke, like financially, and they're broke in the mindset, a lot of them. And most of them don't want to learn how to produce their own music. And then the ones that do, they're like, they don't even own a computer. Like I talk to a lot of artists and they're like, yeah, like I'm just like on BandLab on my phone. And I'm like, bro, like you're not going to buy a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 program for me if you can't even afford a computer. But even with that small, I mean, as you know, like even with the difficulties of the marketing of artists and even with that small subsect, I was $25,000 in credit card debt to $20K a month. And that all happened in the year 2023. But I want to break down exactly how it happened. End of 2022 was when I had paid this mentor, and it didn't really work out. And that maxed out my credit cards to 25 grand. I was 3 credit cards deep, 25K. And I was like, I don't want to go get another credit card. And so I was like, I got to figure something out. And I was making like maybe $2,000 a month as a youth basketball coach only. And my wife, she kind of slapped some sense into me and was like, hey, like, I believe in you. Like, I think you've got this. Like, she was always believing in my potential, but she's like, you need to get a fucking job. Like, you need to make some money to like be able to, you need to just go get some more money. I was like, you know what? I hated to admit it, but I was like, yeah, you're fucking right, right? So here's what 2023 looked like in the beginning. I was coaching basketball. I was like a trainer. I would go to people's houses, still doing a little social media work for realtors. And I got a job at a local coffee shop called Rooted in Walnut Creek. And so I was working 3 jobs at the same time, maxed out my credit cards. And the way I was trying to grow my music business, because I didn't have that much money for paid ads, I was just sending cold DMs. And I would send 50 cold DMs per day on this device by myself, okay? And I would do it like Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. Like I was grinding. So for the first 6 months of 2023, I took like maybe 9 or 10 days off. Like it was a fucking grind. But with those cold DMs, I did end up getting my first couple of clients. I got my first ever client, Ange, who she joined Rapid Fire to learn production. Then after she worked with me, she got the production stuff down pat in like 8 weeks. She was like, hey, can you teach me how to build my business as a producer? I was like, 100%. And so I taught her, and she got 7 custom production clients in the first 30 days of us working together. She scaled to 5K a month while in college, like finishing her senior year. And she's had clients pay her up to $10,000 for production, and she's still one of my clients. And so she was the first ever client I got from cold DMing. Crazy. But basically, like I took money, like I got the money from those clients and I reinvested it back into ads. And I was also investing a lot of money into mentorship. So in that first 6 months between like the end of 2022 and 2023, I invested another 15 grand, right? Of liquid cash, like from a checking account. Cause I was like, dude, I can't do it from a credit card. And honestly, like none of that coaching really worked that well. I have to be honest. So obviously I'm a mentor and a coach, and obviously I'm a huge proponent of it. But you got to vet who you work with. Cause like a bunch of the people I worked with, I was like, damn, this isn't working. This doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. So I'm aggressively investing. And then it wasn't until I finally came across the mentor that changed it all for me, Jeremy Pogue. I saw his content on YouTube, booked in a call with him. We didn't end up working it out at first, but then later on I was able to, pick up some of the money and I paid him. And I started working with him like, I think it was like May or June 2023. And from May to November, I went from 0 to 20K a month. Okay, I think when was my first 10K month? July? September, October. I think it was July now that I'm thinking about it. Because I remember November was the first 20K month. I'm pretty sure it was July or August was the first 16. It was 16K. Can't remember exactly which month it was. But basically what I told myself was, and by the way, like, mind you, while I've hired Jeremy and I'm like starting to run paid ads, he taught me how to run paid ads, right? So started running paid ads. I was still working those 3 jobs. So I'm not cold DMing anymore at this point, but I'm running ads. I'm sending a bunch of DMs. I'm booking calls, closing calls from cold paid traffic from music now this time. It wasn't from marketing for realtors. This was my offer, me with something I was passionate about with my expertise as a producer. And it wasn't until I was like, okay, leave from music alone. If you can make, when you make enough money from music that's more than the 3 jobs combined, you can quit the 3 jobs. The 3 jobs combined was paying me like, I think it was like 6, 7K a month. So not like a ton, but the first month I worked with Jeremy, I made 7K. The next month I think it was 8K, and then it was 16K. And then I was like, well, it's time now. So yeah, I left those 3 jobs. I believe it was like, I'm getting the timeline mixed up. I'm pretty sure it was like August. And yeah, it was crazy. And then after that, I was able to double my business in the next year. And I have to say that was also thanks to my mentor, Austin, right? Austin is the one who taught me sales and made me really understand what sales is. And he helped me understand that sales is a service, and sales is leadership, and sales is persuasion. And it's more than just persuasion, actually. He's really taught me like sales is the best, most important skill because it's what's going to help you change the world and make an impact. And he helped me be great at that. So a couple like key strategic lessons. Like I don't want this video just to be a story, although that's what most of this video was. I want you to like take away something pragmatic from these videos, from this video. And here's what that was. First of all, I broke out of the conventional music industry. Like I was just so tired of like, I mean, you've seen it, right? Like when you go look up like how to grow on your music business or how to grow a music career or marketing for musicians on YouTube and shit like that, it's all bullshit pretty much. Like you've probably figured that out. It's kind of weird though, because a while ago, like I used to think that like the YouTube people, like the music marketing gurus on YouTube, I was like, yo, like these are the independent people. Like these are the people that I thought we'd be fucking with. But it's not because they're just telling you how to win in the conventional music industry, which is just like, still like Spotify streams, sync placements, growing a following, getting views. I teach this to my clients in Music Money Mastery. What I do now is I teach music producers how to make money online and get clients, high ticket. I teach them about, the process that I've come up with, which is the music social funnel. And it's top, middle, bottom, and fulfillment. Top of funnel is ads, middle of funnel, which is nurturing people. We do that with content. And then the bottom of the funnel is DMs, booking calls, closing calls. That's like and that's so basic to like the online business world, but in music, like it's not basic. In the music industry, what does everybody talk about? Like, this because you've watched it, like you're watching me, you've watched a bunch of other people's content. Everyone talks about the same shit, getting views, growing your following. They just talk about the top of the funnel. That's it. And what they do, and not only do they just talk about the top of funnel, but they talk about it wrong. They're talking about top of funnel like content. And it's like, I mean, I tried that for 13, 14 years. That shit didn't work for me. Now you could go on and say, oh, maybe you sucked at content, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, after 13 years of putting in the reps, I sucked at content. I'm pretty good on camera. I work hard. I don't think that's it. I think the system's broken. And so when I implemented paid ads, but the right paid ad strategy, which is what I teach my clients and what I have videos on my channel, if you want to go check those out. I got a really good video on the channel that talks about like, can't remember the title, but it's like Instagram's on easy mode for producers. Go check that out. It explains the whole strategy of like how I run paid ads. But essentially we're creating an ad that's an Instagram reel, and then we can boost the post and you get followers that way. So now like I'm starting to do this. This is how I went from 10K to 38K followers in, a couple of years. It's like, that's huge. It's a big deal. I was netting like 1,500 followers a month, but I was getting 2,000 new followers a month. That's 2,000 new leads per month that I was contacting, right? And the way you nurture people is with DMs. Like no one talks about that in the music industry. None of the music marketing gurus on YouTube. And I know it sounds like I'm just throwing rocks at them because I'm like also a coach and shit, but like I'm telling you from my experience, from me being the person who's in your shoes that had to try to come up, make money with music. Like I went through exactly what the fuck you're going through. So I'm not just throwing rocks at them to try to sell my program. I'm telling you this because this is the shit that I went through. And so the middle of funnel is nurturing people, okay? And you nurture, and I said DMs, I'm sorry, that's the bottom for me. We nurture people with content. So when I post content, like I post every day, you only need to post like 3 times a week on Instagram, go once a week on YouTube as well, post every day on stories. Like the interesting thing is like you start to realize that content is powerful, but it's not powerful in what you think. Content isn't what I use to grow my audience. Content isn't what I use to get new eyeballs. I use content to nurture people who already see me, so I don't need it to get a lot of views, but my ads are what grows my audience. If you think about it, I'm literally growing my audience on autopilot every day. Now, I will say this, if you have shitty organic and you don't have a good content strategy and you don't know how to do content, you just throw up an ad, it's not gonna work. You do need to be good at content. You don't need to go viral. You don't need to like go crazy and try to trick the algorithm, whatever it is. You just need to know how to make great content, which obviously I teach. And I show my clients how to do that. But after that, after people follow me and follow you, follow me, whatever, after they follow me, I send them all DMs, and I'm DMing them and I'm having a legitimate conversation with them where I'm qualifying them. Because like we talked about, artists sometimes have the whole broke mindset and broke bank account problem. So we're not going to make thousands and thousands of dollars off them if they're broke, obviously. So we want to have good DM conversations with them to make sure that we're qualifying them. We want to serve and support them, ask them questions, and then prompt them to book a call if we feel like we can help them. We book calls, we close calls. That's the strategy. So we run follow ads, really simple follow ads to get followers. We want to get followers for $1 to $3 each. Then we have content that nurtures them. We DM all of them. We book calls, we close calls. Now, the biggest thing though, like probably the most important, you've got to have a great offer. Like if you don't have an offer that's any good, if your offer is just like, I'll produce you a song, it's like, bro, that's not enough, right? So you have to know how to like position your offer, how to create an offer, how to add bonuses, how to present yourself as a high level like producer that can really help them. And you don't need a big following. You don't need big names. You don't need platinum plaques. Like you don't need any of that shit. You just need to know how to market and how to actually brand yourself. And the other thing that's really difficult, sales. Like sales is really fucking hard. To get on a Zoom call or whatever, Google Meet, whatever it is, a video call, one-to-one, and really talk to somebody and know how to make them feel comfortable, make them feel heard. You know, they know it's a sales situation, but to make them feel like it's a sales situation they want to be a part of, and then ultimately have them pull out their money and pull out their credit cards and give you thousands of dollars. Like that's hard. That's really hard. Even for me, I'm pretty good at talking, pretty good on camera. I still get hella nervous on calls, even though I've trained and spent tens of thousands of dollars and hours on sales. I still get nervous before calls. It's very difficult. So, but knowing how to do that, it's like, that's what's going to make you the money, is knowing how to run ads, knowing how to nurture, knowing how to convert cold traffic. So for me, like right now, I'm putting in $1 and getting $9 back. Like I have a 9 to 10x return on ad spend right now on cold traffic. That's a big deal. Like that's extremely scalable, and you can have the same. So listen, if I hope this video inspired you, I hope this, gave you some value. I hope my story helped you feel inspired. And I hope that the concepts I'm talking about are starting to turn some wheels for you. And, if you like the video, great. Hope to give you some value. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want, there's a video I have on my channel that literally like goes through this entire strategy, like way more in depth. It's the pinned video, so you can go check that out too, all right? And yeah, have an awesome rest of your day. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Peace.